Did you follow this story? Judge Mershon, Juan Mershon, the judge in the case, who, in my estimation, struggles because he's got a conflict. The daughter, of course, having raised tons and tons of money as a result of these lawsuits. She runs a social media company for Democrats, and so they're raising money off of the lawsuits. So that was, strike number one. The other thing was, I can't really follow his legal logic, shall we say, because he did give the jury the option of picking any one of the above in terms of crimes. He said, you don't need to be unanimous in terms of what you think Donald Trump may or may not have done. You just have to be unanimous in your thought that he's guilty of one of these things. A, B, or C. Take your pick. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre legal rationale. But this was bizarre on Friday because there was some kind of social media post that was put up there by some nut, apparently, claiming to be the cousin of one of the jurors. So let me show you the post. It was on Facebook and then it was on Twitter. I think that we have it for you and you can see this. Here it is. It's basically a comment that's in reply to the New York State Unified Court System. And this person who went by Michael Anderson said, thank you for all your hard against the MAGA crazies. My cousin is a juror on Trump's criminal case and they're going to convict him tomorrow, according to her. Thank you. Love, New York courts. So then he went on, somebody went back to him and said, well, you just implicated your cousin in a crime. If what you say is true, it is against the law for a juror to discuss the case before it has ended. So that apparently shut him up, but it was risen up the ranks. The tweet somehow got noticed by the likes of Judge Mershon, which I find interesting. I find interesting only because there are millions of things out there, right? On Twitter and social media, everywhere, every single day. Like, why is it that this particular one rose to the occasion? Judge Mershon on Friday went to both sides and said, hey, I want to call your attention to this. And he showed them the tweet, and I guess there may have been a Facebook post or whatever. So then it started getting investigated. Again, do you know how much garbage is out there, ladies and gentlemen? There is so much garbage. And yet the judge found it important enough to bring this to everyone's attention. And so it led the news waves. Everybody was starting to talk about this. Let's go to Hannity's program from Friday night and see what he was saying.
Long ago, New York judge Juan Mershon issued a very bizarre, unusual letter notifying President Donald Trump's attorneys and the DA's office about a social media post on the Unified Court System's public Facebook page. Now, the post in question reads the following, quote, my cousin is a juror. He says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all of your hard work. The post was published the day before the verdict on Wednesday, May 29th. In the letter, Mershon did not indicate whether this post was valid or if the courts are investigating the matter, but this is by far a very, by any level, an alarming development.
So he's right. And there were people that were making fun of him, saying, he got suckered into that. Let me just say, as a journalist, you see lots of things all the time and you choose whether or not to report on them. When the judge takes it seriously enough that he alerts everyone on both sides, that's actually a story worth reporting. Right now, it's just gone from being some random weirdo social media troll to Judge Mershon is concerned about this. Why is he concerned about this? You know how many things you could be investigating on a daily basis, the amount of craziness out there? But when the judge actually hand selects one particular post and brings it to everyone's attention, well, then I think the media should be reporting on it. And by the way, everybody should be investigating it, assuming, of course, that Mershon knows what he's doing. And that's the assumption that we have to deal with, right? Because the guy might have just gotten trolled, right? It happens all the time. And this seems to be one where Mershon just maybe overreacted. We don't really know at this point because for whatever reason, like the story went poof, gone, zip, zero, nada, nobody reported on it. I mean, I tweeted out something over the weekend. I think I put something in the community notes. I thought it was pretty fascinating because, again, of all the posts, Mershon goes to this one and says, okay, let me present you guys with this. Why? You all were funny. You're like, oh, he's looking for a way out. He's looking for a way out. He wants this whole thing to go away. They can just declare a mistrial and it will all be over. They did the damage they needed to do. They can move on. They actually didn't do the damage they wanted to do because all the polls have showed that Donald Trump has actually moved up a notch. I mean, moved up a notch to the point where Nate Silver from 538 is saying, hey, are you guys sure that you really want to run Biden? Because it's looking increasingly like Biden's not actually going to be able to do it. He is so disliked by everyone. Anyway, Colin Rugg over on Twitter, you should follow his account. He's got really, really interesting stuff there. I want to show you, he did a little due diligence to figure out who exactly this Michael Anderson person was. And according to Colin, basically, he's somebody who's believed to be a professional you-know-what poster, somebody who's a little bit out there and has a history of promoting just weird, nutty stuff. And so you got to take that into account as well. So Colin doing some due diligence that, by the way, I'm just like, well, where's the New York court system? Where's Judge Mershon? Where's the FBI? Like, why aren't they actually investigating this? Couldn't they have told the judge, yeah, this guy is just kind of a nut. Don't worry about it. Instead, again, getting ratcheted up to all kinds of levels. I don't think we've heard the end of this. I'm going to continue to watch it for you. But I don't fault any of the reporters, whether it's Hannity, myself, or anyone else, because at the point when the judge actually raises it to the level of everyone's attention, now suddenly it's a story. I would just question, again, Mershon. I mean, is he that rinky-dink that he can't actually take the time to do a little bit of what Colin did himself? I mean, you got any reporter in the middle of Kansas somewhere, right? In some local newsroom, and they're going to do some due diligence. And yet the judge doesn't perform basic due diligence and goes into kind of, if you ask me, a little bit of a panic mode. So that was an interesting story happening on Friday, and I don't believe it's entirely over. What do you think? Let me know. I want to know what you think.